Hello and welcome back to the channel. And in today's episode, we're going to be working on a moving platform, and it's going to be rather easy, but there's one trick we're going to have to apply to make our player moving when he's on the platform. So let me show you how it looks finished, and then we'll go to the implementation. So as you can see here, we have the platform which is moving either horizontally or vertically, and we're of course going to use the same code we use for the spike traps. And if I jump at it, you can see that my player, even though I'm not touching any key on my keyboard, is moving relatively to the movement of the platform. So let's see how this can be implemented. Okay, so actually to make it work, we have to do a few things. One thing is I created a player layer and added the player here onto a layer. So I added this, and then I changed the player from default to player. That's one thing. Second thing, there might be a problem with detecting the collision for our ground. Like you can see, our players' feet are overlapping the ground. So I changed the collision detection from discrete to continuous on the rigid body 2D, and that should prevent that issue. Okay, and next problem we have to solve is actually making our platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the weight platform. I'm going to change its name to movement platform. I'm going to unpack this prefab because I created a prefab out of this, so unpack completely. I'm going to remove the weight platform component, bring it up a little bit, and I'm gonna change a scale a little bit because the scale of our platform is here, as you can see, 1.21, and that's not really nice. I'm gonna change it to 1, but then to decrease its height, I'm gonna select all of the children, which are the visual representation, and I'm gonna scale them to 0.2. Okay, and then we probably have to adjust our box collider, and that is true because the box collider updated when we updated the scale. So let's bring this down. Okay, let's save this. What else? In our scripts, I changed the trap axis movement file. So this was trap axis movement both here and here to be just axis movement, since the script can be applied not only to a trap. So it was like trap axis movement, but I changed it to axis movement. The same goes for the file name here. And now if I drag it on the movement platform, I can change it a little bit. Let's say that the movement offset is 4 and the speed is 1, right? Bring it a little closer, or maybe 3, and movement axis is set to X. And then if I play it, you can see that it is moving properly, right? And it's pausing, so I can jump off it because we have the colliders in place, which is really nice. Okay, so this could be the end of the tutorial, but there's another thing that we have to adjust here to make it work as I intended. And this is the fact that whenever the player is standing on the platform, he's not moving with it. And that's what I would like to implement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new script, and I'm gonna call this something like movement platform collision, and let's open that one up. And this is gonna be simple but rather interesting, I hope. we're gonna need some references here. So let's start by that. We're gonna need a private player movement reference from player movement, and we're gonna need a private vector-free previous position reference, and of course on collision enter to D, on collision exit to D. And what we're gonna need is find whether the object we collided with for a platform is actually a player or has a player movement component. You can do this by using game object try get component, which itself returns boolean, informing you whether we were able to obtain given component from this game object. And also it takes out C# parameter, meaning we can get something out of that function. So this is gonna be player movement, and I will assign this to player movement. So not only I get information about where we were able to obtain that component, but thanks to the out parameter I pass into a function, I can get also the reference to a movement. And this is a trick you can use in C# whenever you need to obtain few pieces of information from given function. I'm going to set the previous movement to transform position. So this is like our initialization. And then also here I'm going to deinitialize everything. So if game object, this is name other for some reason, I don't know why. Game object try get component, and I'm going to say out player movement just for the sake of checking whether we have that component there. I'm going to set the player movement to null. So we're not interested in that anymore because this is the indication that player has left the platform. And now only thing I need to do is to calculate the difference between our previous platform position and current, and then apply it to a player movement. So let's check where the player is on the platform, and this is indicated by the player movement component or reference. Then vector free, I'm gonna say delta position is equal to transform position minus previous position. I'm gonna reapply the previous position to be transform position. Now the only thing to do is to actually pass this information to player movement. So I'm gonna say player movement to just movement when on moving platform. I'm gonna pass data position here. So we need to go to our, can we create that function? Yes, we can, which is great. And this of course has to be public. So now the only thing we have to do is to actually say that we have some platform movement here, which is gonna be private position vector free platform movement. Then go here and say platform movement is equal to delta position. I need to apply it. So let's actually go here and initialize that value to be vector free 0. And then where we apply and calculate the position here, I can say if platform movement is not equal to vector free 0, then position x equals to platform movement X, or rather we have to add this. And this is going to almost work. So let's try this. Let's click on our player and see whether his X position gonna be changing without me influencing it when we are on the platform. It does, or it doesn't. Oh, that's because I did not apply the movement script here. So the collision script, which is movement platform collision. Okay. Save it, play it, and let's see now. Yeah, it's changing, but for some reason, right, it does not follow the platform. Right, you can see that I'm sliding off of it. And why is that? This is due to the fact that we are applying the movement of the platform in a fixed update, but here we're getting the information about this in update, and these are not the same functions. I mean, fixed update is gonna be called rarely compared to update. We can fix that by accumulating the delta position here, right? And then after we apply our movement, we set the platform movement back to vector free 0. And here we're gathering all the calls we get from our platform and then apply it batched once and reset the platform movement to be 0. And then again, we're gonna start gathering that information. Okay, and that's gonna work, but there's only one thing I would like to change here. When we're leaving platform, before we set the player movement to null, we're just gonna reset the gathered movement back to 0, just to be on our safe side. Let's see how this works. So I am jumping on the platform, and as you can see, I'm moving with it almost like expected. Let's try this again. Yeah, you can see that there's small movement offset moving left and right, but I'm gonna say that this is negligible, right? Let's see whether we can maybe adjust this a little bit. This is previous position, and this is player movement. Maybe if we do this, it's going to be more precise. Let's see. No, that's going to be too small of a value. Yep, definitely. So let's get rid of that. But yeah, this is basically how you can achieve the platform with a relative movement in your platformer. So I don't have to worry about my platform, about my player falling off of the platform when it is moving. So yeah, thank you for that. If you'd like, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it, as I'm growing near 2K of subscribers. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in the next one. Goodbye.